recently when I was looking for a property, honestly, I spent hours on hours looking at listings. I had a spreadsheet where I was basically putting in the projected purchase price, what I could get from rent, and tallying all those costs that you just mentioned. But it took me a long time to go through properties. So my question is, when you're analyzing properties, do you have a few key metrics that you'd like to focus on? Sometimes we're told about cash on cash, we're told about cap rates, but I'm just wondering, how do you screen properties when you're looking to buy?
Yeah, so what I would say is that I've developed a trigger point. So depending on the market, I'll have a trigger point, and that trigger point will help me to identify what makes sense and what doesn't make sense in a market. So for example, if I was going to Kingston and I was looking for like a duplex in Kingston, for example, I know what the rents are typically for a 3-bedroom and 2-bedroom in Kingston. I'll probably end up with gross rents of about, let's say, 4,200. So at 4,200, I know that if I can buy a duplex for under 600,000, I'm going to be cash flow positive because I'm working backwards from the rents and all my expenses to that amount. So that immediately limits the type of a number of properties that would be available to me at that particular price. So that means that if that would probably drop your list down to like maybe 4 or 5, but maybe it would drop it down to 0. So then what you need to do is then what I would do is I would talk to realtors in the area. Realtors are the best resource for figuring out what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. You can ask them, does it make sense? Am I going to be able to buy a $600,000 property that's a duplex in Kingston? And if they say, no, that's not reasonable, or, yes, in today's market, because we've shifted a little bit, you could put down offers at 600,000, then that would make sense. The other thing is I need to understand the areas where I'm buying, right? I don't want to buy in a crappy location with a lot of crime and all I'll be dealing with is headaches or C-class tenants, right? Or D-class tenants. I really want to have B-class tenants because that's where I find is a sweet spot for me. And so that means that areas are important. So I'll look at a map, right? And I'll look at the different areas of Kingston, and there'll be areas where I stay away from, and I'll be in areas that I'm interested in. So how do you develop that map? Well, I would go to a property management company to develop that map, not a realtor. They have different motivations. Okay. So property management company can tell you, well, I'm not going to manage a property if you pick it up here, but I will manage a property if you pick it up here. Right. And so you can go and develop those relationships, and they can tell you, this is a B area, this is a C area, stay out of this area. This is all you're going to get is student rentals here. Like they can tell you that because that's what their experience is, and that's what they do from a day-to-day basis. Right. There are some realtors that are also run property management companies. And I think that that's okay. I think that works fine. You just have to make sure that they can share with you that type of understanding of the area, because it's different than somebody who's just, this is what the purchase price is and it makes sense. So it's layering those together. Those filters will help you to not look all over the place, right? You'll immediately say, oh, these 5 or these 2 are the ones that make sense.